YouTube friends, what is going on? David Lee here. We are back with a brand new video. Today we're talking about a piece of gear, specifically a cart, right? A production cart, a camera cart, a way to make your life easier on set. That is the Proaim Victor 1.1 production cart slash camera cart slash make your life a lot easier. Now, why would you want a camera cart, production cart in general? Well, for starters, if you have a lot of gear, right, you have a lot of Pelican cases, you have any kind of case to put your equipment in, lenses, cameras, gimbals, you have lights. Lights have cases, they come in bags, right? You have tripods, you have stands. A way to help make your life easier, right, not breaking your back and things like that, is having a production cart or a camera cart with you. Camera carts come in different shapes, they come in different sizes, they come in different material, and in particular, the Proaim 1.1 Victor cart is a all metal construction. Minus like the handles, because usually handles have some kind of rubber on it, right? But I mean, you get what I mean. And that ties into the first pro of the Victor 1.1 cart is the build quality. I have to Google this thing because I don't know what the hell this cart is actually made of. Excuse me. The actual material of most of the cart, including the shelves and the poles, are made of aluminum and steel. So that being said, you know that this cart is going to last you for quite some time, even through the rigors of production. Now, why is that important? Well, when you're shopping for a production or a camera cart, sometimes the material can be less than desirable, right? There are more affordable carts in that $1,000, $1,100 range that are made of, at least the shelves are made of a hardened plastic, somewhere in between a standard milk crate or an egg crate and your general plastics, right? So if you're just hauling, a couple of things that aren't too heavy, then maybe those lighter weight material carts will do you better. But if you're someone like me who hauls around, lights, cameras, heavy cameras, lenses, support for everything, right? You want a cart that's going to last you for years and years and years, and through the rigors of set, when you're, moving things out of your vehicle, when you're putting things on the car, taking things off the car, when you're moving physically the car from one location to another, you want to be able to have that as a last concern in your head of, man, I hope this cart is going to last me even through the day. My second pro of the Victor 1.1 cart from Proaim is the accessories to match your needs. In general purposes, the cart is a camera cart. You can build your camera on top of it, great for your second ACs or building the cameras for you. You can add accessories such as the C-stand holder that I have. It's meant for C-stands, but I typically don't put C-stands on it. I usually have someone else that will bring C-stands, but again, if I need to bring like one or two C-stands, that is there. I usually put my tripod on it, and if I need to put one like a Gary Coleman or a small light stand, I can put it on there. There's also cable hooks that are made of solid metal or kind of like a aluminum metal kind of design. They do slide around, which is my only con of the cable hooks, but if you do need something where you have a stinger or you have some SDI cables that you're swapping back and forth, it's easier to put it on a cable hook than it is putting it on the cart. It gets lost, it's underneath a couple of bags, or you give it to someone. It's better to have everything organized on your cart. My first con is the my first con before I die is the assembly of the top shelf isn't necessarily the easiest thing. Comparing it to, say, the innovative carts, which again are extremely great carts. Many of my colleagues have Voyager carts, 36, 42s. They're great. They're awesome carts, right? I mean, I have nothing to complain about the innovative carts. Now, that being said, with the Proaim cart, the top shelf doesn't have like a safety pin like the Voyagers do. So when you do put the top shelf onto the support poles or the support beams, it is kind of finicky, right? Where you kind of have to go from one corner to the next and then the next. If you have two people that are helping you, a lot easier. If you're doing it by yourself, it's not impossible, but again, there could be a better system. I do know Proaim's coming out with a new version of their Victor carts. I think they just call it the Pro, so maybe they've addressed that issue. But if you're buying a Victor 1.1 cart right now, again, putting the top shelf on isn't the easiest thing. It does take some finessing. There's different techniques that I've tried, but the one that works for me is simply I just start with one corner and then push the other pin down, get one corner, get the other corner, get the last corner. My second con are the rubber spacers that insert I don't even know what you would call it. They're basically when you want to put the top shelf on top of the bottom shelf for transportation. There are these rubber spacers that allow you to kind of slot the top shelf into the bottom shelf. One of mine bursted, I guess is the easiest way to say it, or the most accurate way to say it. And I didn't notice it until maybe a few months later when I was having issues closing or latching down one side of the top shelf to the bottom shelf connector. And upon investigation, upon inspection, I noticed that one of the rubber spacer just it just bursted for whatever reason. I haven't reached out to Proaim, so I don't know if that's something that they can replace. I would assume so, because it's just like a rubber spacer. But that would be my second con is, I wouldn't expect that to happen, but it did. That being said, the cart still closes, the cart still works, right? It's just metal, right? It's just a cart. It's not there's no electronics in it, right? My last con is with the crossbar, or the X bar as I call it, setup. So the crossbars in general production carts, camera carts, they're there for you to attach a camera mounting plate for like a Mitchell base or any other kind of like VCT setup you may have. It's also there as added support, right? It's another point of friction from the top shelf to the bottom shelf and vice versa. Setting it up wise, it's basically you latch one side and then you screw in or you tighten down the knob, and then you do the same thing on the other side. Now, my issue with it though is sometimes when you unscrew it too much, or if you have someone who isn't used to your cart, they can unscrew it all the way, and then you're kind of stuck with this bolt that is just hanging out in infinity. It's not a make or break. It's not a ultra con for me, but it is annoying, and it's something that I wish they could address in the new version, and hopefully they address it in the new version of their Pro cart. Now, pricing for the Victor 1.1 cart right now is about $1,700. The Pro cart is like $300 or $400 more. I haven't done full research as far as what the full difference is. The Pro cart isn't even out yet as of the time of this recording. And the main question I feel a lot of people will be asking this moment is, hey, why didn't you get a Voyager cart? Why didn't you get an innovative cart? And at the time, the Voyager 36, I think it was the Evo or the NXT, I can't remember the acronyms, was like $4,000 or something like that, right? Again, it's a very, very good cart. I have colleagues that own both the Voyager 36 and the 42 size carts. They're awesome carts. But I was shopping around and I saw Proaim had their version of the cart, which looked identical to the Voyager cart, right? And if you look at it, if you put them side by side, they're very, very close. I mean, you'd have to nitpick. There are differences, right? There are differences between the Voyager cars and the Proaim cars. I'm not going to say they're like exactly the same, but pound for pound, as far as how you generally set things up, how the wheels go on with the dovetail system, the brakes on the rear wheels, right? All that stuff, the accessories that you can have, it's basically, they're like the same thing, but at a much lower price point. That being said, Innovative has dropped the price of their Voyager and NXT carts to something a little bit more affordable, right? Which, I mean, I still think they are very, very affordable. Compared to the Proaim cart though, you are still saving about, $1,000, right? And that $1,000 can go towards accessories or whatever you need for your camera cart, production cart needs. Alrighty, that does it for me. If you liked the video, please leave it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel just so you are notified of new content coming out. If you haven't followed the podcast, please do so. It's on Spotify, it's on iTunes or Apple Podcasts. It is a podcast meant for owner-operators, for solo business operators, for cinematographers, for filmmakers, right? Anyone in that category where you are you're out there, right? You're out there on set, you're working with crews, maybe sometimes you're doing one-man band stuff, but most importantly, I made the podcast to be more half like business centric and half cinematography, right? So we do breakdowns, we talk about the business side of things. Our most recent one, depending on when you watch this, I guess, right, is talking about half rates versus full rates, right? What's the difference? And do you charge half rates or full rates? And when do you know what is the difference between going from one to the other, right? So that's just a snippet of the type of material that I bring to the podcast. All right. Other than that, friends, remember that every day you have an opportunity to create your experience and to write and tell your own story. My name is David Lee, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Oh, thank God I was recording.